Hello, how are you doing today? My name is Karo. I'm a real estate consultant in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm here again today with another video on real estate investing in Nigeria. I'm sure you're going to learn one or two things that will help you maximize profits in your real estate investing. Now, in my previous video where I talked about the best place to buy land in Lagos, I talked a bit on land banking. But there's a lot more to be said. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to be addressing land banking in detail. That would mean that I'll kind of have to repeat a few things I've said before in the previous video, but there will be a lot more new things that I'm going to add. Now let's get right into it. What is land banking? Say you're watching my video for the first time and you've not seen any, you didn't see my previous video. What is land banking? Well, land banking is basically buying a land, and then living it for like a few years or more, and then come back and sell off three times the price that you bought it, or three times the amount that you bought it, or even four times, five times the amount you bought it, depending on the location where you bought the land. That's really what it's about. So instead of saving money in the bank and where you probably not get anything on it in 5 years, but especially where you not get any value added, what that means is that if you have 5 million in the bank today, in 5 years, what 5 million can buy you today, in 5 years, you can't get it. So even though you still have your money the same, intact, you've actually lost some money because in value it has reduced a great deal. So when you save money, really, you're kind of as the year goes by, each year the money devalues, reduces in value, But if you put it on a land, the opposite is the case. That's the benefit of land banking. That's why definitely we're encouraging more people to stop saving money in the bank. If you have a bulk of money that you don't have plans for anytime soon, instead of putting it in the bank, just put it on a land, and in a few years, be rest assured that your money would have doubled. So land banking, if you ask me, is really the best form of real estate investment. If you are an investor, if you want to become an investor, and you really don't have the energy for so much stress and all that, you don't want to bother your head so much. I like that kind of investing. I don't want to stress myself so much. I just want to put my money and it doubles itself. I can come back and then come cash out. That's what land banking is about. It's perfect. It's stress-free. So basically, I'm going to be talking about how to maximize your profits when you do this kind of real estate investment. Now, the biggest decision you will ever make, because really, like I said, you just buy the land and you leave it. So the only decision you have to make is the biggest one ever, where you have to decide on when you want to buy the land. That's really, whether you make it or break it with land banking, it starts and ends with where you decide to buy the land. Now, the best place for land banking, I would say it depends. Right now in Lagos, the best place for land banking, I will have to say Ibejuleki. Why Ibejuleki? Ibejuleki because when you're doing land banking, because you are banking, you're going to be banking your money for a while. You really don't want to put so much money. Like, you don't want to start buying lands that are 20 million naira a plot, 30 million naira a plot for land banking. Instead, you can look for places, even if you have that kind of money to invest. Instead of putting that 30 million on one plot of land, you can actually look for places that are still upcoming in development, but that have great potential. Look for places with good landmarks, whether currently it has good landmark or proposed, areas where government really has interest. Areas, maybe you hear of a major bridge that is going to lead to a very commercial place or a popular place in Lagos. A bridge is coming that is going to link this place to that place, and that alone is a good indication that, the lands in that area or the land here, because of the bridge, this place that is still upcoming or that is not popular among the Lagosians here yet, the land here, because of that bridge that is proposed, the land here is likely going to pick up in price because of the easy access, bridge that's proposed. That's one thing. Now, Ibejuleki has a whole lot of proposed developments coming up. Some are already ongoing. I was at, today is November 28th, 2019. Yesterday, I took a client to one of our plots in Ibejuleki. That's the refinery, the free trade zone area, the refinery area. And each time you go there, whether it's a week, whether it's a month difference, you notice something that wasn't there before that is now there. This time yesterday when I went there, guess what I noticed? The biggest challenge with Ibejuleki, the reason people are not building yet and people are not moving down there yet, I feel one of them is because there's no bank. There are no banks in the area. You have to drive for over an hour also, depending on the side of Ibejuleki you're coming from. If you're coming from that Lekki Free Trade Zone, that refinery side where we are now having residential plots, if you're coming all the way back to, Lagos, the island, you're going to have to drive for over an hour before you find it back. But guess what? When I went there yesterday, things have changed. We now have Access Bank. All built already. I think it's functioning already. Access Bank is there now, and it takes one bank to go there before all starts going there. So there's always, Ibejuleki is fast developing. There's a lot of investments there. There's power oil there. There's Lekki Free Trade Zone there. There's the deep sea port. There's the Dangote refinery. The road is already being expanded to, 4 lanes. So it's because some people they were worried that probably it's going to become the refinery, it might become like a papa. Nah, that road has been expanded. So it's, in fact, in the whole of West Africa right now, if you were asking yourself where's the best place to invest in real estate, it's Ibejuleki. And the advantage of Ibejuleki, aside the fact that it has all those proposed things coming up, and in a few years the price is going to really go up, triple its the current price they sell land for now. Aside that, is that right now the lands are still affordable. The lands are not 10 million, 12 million, 8 million, 6 million. Okay, the one for CFO is between 5 and 6 million, but it's not up to 10 million. It's not that high yet that is not affordable compared to where it's going to be in the next few years. There's still a big room, for return on investment. That's why Ibejuleki. So for land banking, it's Ibejuleki, and your return within the next few years is guaranteed that you're going to be able to triple your money for nothing, for doing nothing. Just buy the land, put your money, let it sit there for a while, and as development starts to come to the area, it just goes up in price. So that's it. I'll say Ibejuleki. So what's the price of land in Ibejuleki, you might ask? Now, the prices of land in Ibejuleki vary based on where the land is, as in where it is in Ibejuleki, how easy it is to access it, based on that. But the primary thing that differentiates the prices of land in Ibejuleki is the title on the land. The title on the land is a major thing. If you are buying a land that has approved restriction and gazette, there's a different amount of money. If you are buying a land that has CFO, even though it's within the same area, it's a different amount of money. That can add several million to the price. That's how big of a deal title is, for land. Now, we also have this, you might have seen some adverts advertising land in Ibejuleki for 500, 600, 700, 800, buy 5, get 1 free. Those lands are very, very affordable. However, you have to tread carefully. And soon, within the next 1 month, I'm going to actually focus on those lands and discuss, discuss it in detail in terms of whether or not you should buy them. But the quick advice here on this video, if for land banking, it makes sense to say, okay, instead of you to say you want to use 5 million, 6 million to go buy a plot of land in a Bejuleki, it's tempting at times to say, oh, that 5 million, I can use it to buy an acre from the ones that are selling for 600, 700. The disadvantage with that is that those lands that are selling between 600 and even up to 1.2, 1.5 in Bejuleki, they are not free lands. They are not free. They have, government has shown they have something we call government acquisition. That means that although they are not committed lands, but government has interest in them. Government has shown interest in them. And yes, those lands can become free through a process known as a cession. That's why when you see some of those lands, on that title you see a cession in process. You see a cession in process. It means that they are telling you that, oh, the cession has started, but that's just it. So officially, it's still a land without title. In fact, you have to put any title to it. It's government acquisition. So that's the risk with a decisioning process. When you buy it, it may be approved, it may not be approved. During Ambode's time, when he was the governor of Lagos, he didn't sign any document. In fact, he didn't sign any title document, not a decision, not global seal, nothing. So you don't know if it will be approved, you don't know when it will be approved. And until that title issue around the land is sorted out, you can't do anything with the land. So that's the risk with such lands. My recommendation, if you ask me, will be stay away from such lands. Instead, buy lands that already have approved decision. When you buy lands that already have approved decision, you are safe. You don't have to allow the government, nothing. Some of those lands, the developers go ahead and do the CFO. But even if they are not doing the CFO for you, you can do your CFO by yourself. Because even when they do the CFO for you, you still have to, if they do the CFO for an estate, what it gets is a global CFO. So the CFO will be in their name. You will only get a copy of it. So if you buy a land that already has approved decision, which is almost like Gazette, approved decision and Gazette, they are still in. Gazette is the finishing step to a decision. If a land is undergoing a decision and the decision becomes approved, the Gazette is the end of the process, because Gazette is basically when the decision, the approved decision, is now entered into a record where those things are entered and then published. Once it's published, that's when it's said that, oh, it now has Gazette. What it's simply saying is that the decision has been seen to the end. And so if a land does that, you can, when you buy it, you can do your CFO, and it gets, when you do your CFO, the CFO is in your name if the developers don't do their CFO. And it's still the same thing with if you buy a land with CFO. Because if you buy a land with CFO, because it has global CFO, you still have to go perfect the title. Not just because it has global CFO. If you buy any land that already has CFO, even if it's a private land, the title cannot be transferred to you. So it's the title, even though the ownership of the land is transferred to you, the title, which is CFO, remains under the person's name. So you still have to go and do perfection of title, which is go and do governor's consent. So I see right now, if you ask me, there's really no advantage to lands that have CFO. So if you're doing land banking, I'll say reduce your cost and focus on lands that have gazettes, except you just want to impress yourself and buy a land that have CFO, because some people will still insist that it's better. Personally, I don't think there's any advantage to a land that has CFO anymore, simply because the title is not in your name. So you will still go out to perfect it anyway. But if you buy a land that has gazette or approved decision, you just go and do CFO, and the CFO will not be your name. So it's still the same, steps you take, whether you buy land that doesn't have CFO or you buy land that has CFO. So that's what I think. I think stay away from such lands. I think buy lands in the Bejuleki, but buy lands that at least have approved decision. If you can buy lands that have CFO. That's it. Now that I've said that, there's something I want to get into, which this video is really about. How do you maximize profits when you're buying, when you're doing land banking. I've said one part of it. Now there's another side to it. This first side to it that I talked about is you buy lands that are affordable so that you don't bank so much money. But there's this other side of it that you may want to consider buying expensive lands. Now, what's that all about? You have to decide when you're doing land banking whether you want immediate returns or you don't mind waiting for a few years. You get what I'm saying? You have to decide if you can wait long years to get that return on investment, or if you want to get it within a year or two. Now, if you want to get it within a year or two, like I've said, it all comes down to the decision you make at the beginning. That's what will determine how much you can make from land banking, if it will even be worth it for you. Now, that's where I'm getting to now. How soon do you want to make profit from land banking? That's very, very important. If you want to make profit within the next 1 or 2 years, I'm probably the first real estate consultant that is going to tell you this, then you should not buy land from Ibejuleki. Why? Because right now, Ibejuleki is still upcoming. Ibejuleki is still an upcoming area. Nobody is building yet. Yesterday when I was there are some estates already building houses, and as the year goes by, we're going to have more and more houses, and then population moving down there. But for now, that place is still a bit rural, still a bit of a rural area. And like I said, the infrastructures are just now coming up, starting with the Access Bank that now has office, a very beautiful place there now. Infrastructures are just coming up. So and development, drives profits, drives the price of land. So if nothing is happening, if you buy a land in an estate and nothing is happening on the land, really for a long time, prices will remain the same. I've been in real estate now for 3 years, and I can tell you that there are some lands that have remained the same price for over a year, over 18 months in Ibejuleki. Why? Because those lands we are buying in Ibejuleki, the benefits, the return, when it will make sense, is not really now. I hope you know. It's in the near future. So you are buying it for things to come. You are buying it now so that you get to pay much less than you would pay once that whole place comes together. That's why you're buying it. So your returns is not going to be in the next 2, 3, probably not even 4 years. Because in that 4 years, prices would have gone up, but probably not to the extent that you want to sell off your land yet. So you might want to wait again. So it will probably take 6, 7 years for it to really triple that amount of money, for everything to make sense, that you say, okay, I want to now sell it off. Do you understand? What I'm trying to say here is that with land banking, don't feel like you have to wait that many years before you can make money from it. No. You don't have to. You can invest in lands that are in developed area and do land banking in lands that are in developed area. When you do that, then your return on investment, your money it starts growing within a few months. Prices start topping, the price start going up, and then you start getting return on investment. And sometimes you are really very fortunate that price can just jump very quickly within a few months. I'll give you an example. There's this estate called Westwood. When we started selling it, we were calling it Westwood Park Estate Phase 2, because there was a Phase 1. But eventually the Phase 1 was cancelled, and it's now just referred to as Westwood Park Estate. When we started selling that estate in, I think, February 2017, that estate was selling for 8.4 million naira. And before you knew it, the estate started selling for 12 million, 17.5, and it ended at 20 million naira per plot when it sold out. And this was just in 2 years plus. So we're talking about someone that bought at 8.4 million naira a plot. And within 2 years, your land is now worth 20 million naira. We've never seen that happen. In fact, clients that invested in that estate is now reluctant investing in another estate because it took us all by surprise and it took them all by surprise. But because development was going on, because of the area where it is Songotedu, price went up really, really quickly. And it's like the best estate I've seen that gave that kind of return so fast. So what I'm saying is invest in a developed area of Lagos where people are ready to build, people are ready to live in right now because the area is developed. When you do that, because the area is developed, the estate is going to be developed very quickly within a few years. And that also means that the price is going to increase. You're going to get returns very quickly. So that's really the part that was missing in the previous video that I said I must add to this video. So don't feel like you have to wait for land banking. You have to wait many years. You can still do it and get returns very quickly within a short time. But that will mean that you have to invest a whole lot of money because lands in that area, like I said, Westwood 2017 started selling for 8.4. But in Songotedo as a whole right now, you can't get a land for 8.4 except you are buying a land that has approved decision instead of CFO. All CFO lands, the minimum that we have in my portfolio right now is 14 million naira a plot. So you can see that you have to pay a lot more money, but then you'll be able to get quicker return. And so from everything I've said, you make a decision of what's right for you, and then let me know. We have anywhere you want to turn. If you want to buy lands in the Bejuleki, we have a lot of them on my portfolio. And if you want to buy land in the developed areas of the islands, where if you watch my previous video on how to buy the best place to buy land in Lagos, you'll see that places like Aja, Sokotedo are really the hot cake right now. I recommend people see that video if you've not seen it. So I think that's going to be it for today. So just put everything I've said together and make an informed decision and start your land banking. Land banking, like I said, is the simplest form of real estate investing. You don't stress yourself, you just buy it and that's it. And with this video, you already have all the information that you need to do land banking. And you know who to call. Just reach out to me. I will stay with you on the process, from the process of deciding which of the estates to invest in, to the process of buying and getting you your document within 24 hours and staying on it, keeping you updated of the return your land is getting or what's going on there. That's what I do for my clients, all my clients, and most of them are abroad anyway. So if you're abroad, you're listening to this, you know that you know who to call. Now that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until I come your way again, it's goodbye for now. God bless you. Stay out of trouble out there. Bye.